Before we get started, I want to mention that I know that this may be an uncomfortable topic for some of you, so let's review the 4 OKs together. It is perfectly okay if you feel embarrassed or uncomfortable. It's okay to be curious and to ask questions. It's okay if you don't know this information already. Some of you might have already had this talk with your parents about puberty, and some of you might be learning this information for the first time. And it's okay for males and females to know about each other's bodies. This helps us understand one another better. Today's video will introduce you to the anatomy of the female reproductive system. I want you to remember, when we're discussing this system, we are talking about anyone with a vagina. First up, this is a simple image of the internal female reproductive organs. In this video, we will cover the ovaries, including the ovum, the fallopian tubes, the uterus, the cervix, and the vagina. You will also learn briefly about the vulva, which is located outside of the body. We will talk about each part and their important function in your body. First, we will discuss the ovaries. There is one ovary on each side of the lower abdomen, right beside your hip bones. The ovaries have 2 functions. They produce hormones, one being estrogen, and they store ova, which is the plural term for ovum, meaning egg cells. Each ovary is the size and shape of an almond. That's pretty small. Inside the ovaries are ovum, otherwise known as eggs. They are really tiny, about the size of a dot that you would make with the tip of your pencil. Even though they are really small, when the egg is joined with a male sperm cell, this is called fertilization and can create a baby. A female is born with a supply of about 250,000 immature ovum or eggs in each ovary. During puberty, a female will usually begin to release an egg once a month. The process of an ovary releasing the ovum or an egg is called ovulation. Attached to the ovaries are the fallopian tubes. They are narrow tubes on each side of the uterus. Believe it or not, they are only about the diameter of a pencil. The fallopian tubes connect the ovaries to the uterus and are where the egg travels down once released from the ovary. The uterus, also called the womb, sits very low in the abdomen and is nowhere near the stomach. You may have heard people say that a baby grows in mummy's tummy. This is actually not true. A baby grows in the uterus. In an adult female, the uterus is the size and shape of a clenched fist. To get ready for pregnancy, the uterus forms a thick, nutrient-rich lining of blood and tissue each month. The lining of the uterus is called the endometrium. At the bottom of the uterus is the cervix. It's normally nearly closed but opens during labor to allow for the baby to pass through. The cervix also opens a tiny bit each month to allow for blood from your period to leave your body. This is called your menstrual flow. The cervix connects the body of the uterus to the vagina. The vagina is located inside of the body and is a passageway between the uterus and the outside of the body. It is lined with a tissue called the mucous membrane. Similar to the cervix, the vagina is able to expand to allow for the delivery of a baby. The vagina also allows for menstrual blood and lining to leave the body each month during a period. This is where sperm is deposited so it can travel towards an egg to fertilize it. The vulva is located outside of the body and is the area of soft skin between a female's legs. There is an outer and inner fold of skin. The outer fold is called the labia majora, and the inner fold is called the labia minora. These folds are meant to protect the internal reproductive organs. Females have 3 openings between their legs. First, there is the urethra, which is the tube where urine leaves the body. It is the opening just above the vagina. It is not part of the reproductive system, but part of the urinary system. Next, the vagina is the opening between the urethra and the anus. This is where a baby comes out. Lastly, the opening at the end of the digestive tract, where feces or poop leaves the body, is called the anus. It is not part of the reproductive system, but instead part of the digestive system. In this video, we reviewed the female reproductive system, including the ovaries and ovum, the fallopian tubes, the uterus, the cervix, and the vagina. Hopefully now you have a better understanding of how this system works.